All right, all right, all right, all right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am James Alva Jr., managing partner of Kabila Ventures, a new VC firm coming soon, y'all. I promise, coming. Founder of the Kabila Founder Health Mental Health Fund, and which provides free mental therapy for founders, husband to an amazing wife, and co-founder of the world's cutest twins. Tell us where you're coming in from in the comments. We'd love to know where you're coming in from. Also, please share this on your social media channels and to invite your friends to join what's going to be a really great conversation. Also, as we get into this, if you're hanging out with us, drop your questions in the comments. We will do our best to get to all of them, which if you watch these regularly, you know we do our best to get to folks in these comments. So what am I excited about today? Today, I'm excited about the fact that the book is here. The book is here. Let me show you the book, y'all. Where's the book? I'm doing all the things over here. The book is here, right? The book is here. This is the most important book about founder mental health ever written. I do not say that lightly. No shade to the other books out there that, shine a light on this important topic. But also I got to show you this QR code here. One second, if you want to cop the book. I'm doing all the things here. Boom, upper left-hand corner. If you want to learn more about the book, you can go there. Also, doing all the things here. There are all the things. There we go. Look at it. Doing all the things. The book is the most important book. It's not just because of the powerful and vulnerable stories from amazing founders and investors. It's also because, and it's not because of, Techstars CEO and founder David Cohn wrote the forward. But it's because, as many of you know, 72% of the founders are dealing with mental health challenges. And this book helps to solve the problem. How? Because 90% of the book's net profits will benefit the Kabila Founder Mental Health Fund, which pays for mental therapy for founders. So you can visit Amazon.com, visit Amazon by clicking on that QR code in the top left corner, or just go and visiting go.kabilamentalhealth.com, as you see scrolling across the bottom here, /book, and you can learn more about the book. All right, so enough about that. Let me get these things off the screen here. And where's that thing? Anyway, I'll find it in a second. Oh, there we go. Too many things at once. So look, one of the things I like to do is introduce you guys to cool founders doing interesting work. Today is no exception. I have a really awesome human and a founder I met a couple months ago, and I wanted you to meet him. So today we have Shane Pope, founder of the AI wellness app, Remi. Well, Shane. Hold on. Yeah, before you do that, because I got all the little thingies right here. Hey. Welcome, bro. How are you, man?
Thank you. Doing well. Yeah. Beautiful day.
Yeah. So let's get right into it, man. What is Remi and what inspired you to start it?
Yeah, so Remi is the app I've created named after my dog. It's a tool that's designed to help people process their inner world, their minds. I have a theory and a hunch that we just as a society have too much on our minds. We have too much information flowing in. I think about how if you look back to 100 years ago, 200 years ago, and you think about just a day in the life of an average person, like it's millions of times more information that we're dealing with, and our brains are just not equipped to handle it. And so the way Remi works is you go in, it asks you questions. I think about AI, some of the most powerful use cases that I feel are the most helpful are when AI is asking the question instead of delivering the answer. And so that's really the foundation of it. And I'm not the guy who's like, I want to be a founder. I put 10 ideas on the whiteboard and market tested all of them. Like I had this idea, I made a prototype, I shared it with some friends. The feedback was phenomenal, and then just kept taking one step, and then now here I am, app on the App Store, and full time founding this company.
Dope. So I'm gonna do a quick demo video in a second, but before we do that, how do you think this is gonna make a dent in the universe?
Yeah, I think if this goes to my dream scenario and everything happens the way that I am working towards making it happen, is that the people that use my tool would just feel a little calmer, more regulated, more present, have a little bit less of a temper, have a little bit less of that emotional volatility. And I'm a big believer in the butterfly effect, that if you can get, one person uses Remi when they're stressed, it brings them down into a calm state. They're at the grocery store, it's taking a little bit longer than normal. they have the patience, they don't get frustrated, then they don't put that on the teller. Like, and there's just these butterfly effects that happen and these chain reactions that if we can just help people just calm down a little bit, bring down. It's not a tool here to solve all your problems. It's not here to give you all the answers to life, but if it can help you calm down, bring you more into the present, I think that we can make a dent in the universe every day.
Listen, I think that's so important, especially with everything that's going on now. That's showing up seems like every 5 minutes in our social figures with these videos and Minneapolis and all this stuff, man. Like everybody, it's a lot, and people need to be able to some tools that help them stay more present and calm down. So what I want to do is real quick, I want to show just a quick demo video of the product. And then when we get done, just kind of if you have any takes on anything that we show. So let me show this very quickly. And let me just scroll up here. And here it goes. Stand by, okay? So you like that music, man? Do you like that or no?
Beautiful. Yeah, I was getting a little emotional.
So I was putting that demo video together. That's when my man Shane likes this music. But so that's a little quick demo of how the product works. And as what people saw there is, you asked you questions like what's on your mind kind of thing, and you made a selection there, and then asked you a question, and you said, hey, this founder thing is like really getting on me. It's pretty hard. And then it just kind of asked you some more questions like how would you change things and what would that feel like, and so I actually did use it, and I thought it was great. It was refreshing to have the AI asking questions versus like if I'm just using Chat GPT, I'm the one like putting in the inputs. But this thing is really trying to get at what's bothering you. And I loved how it like gave you some guidance about, okay, so here's some things that you can do to be more calm, to be more present. And then it kind of gave you an assessment kind of where you are. I thought it was great. I think it's a great app. Really cool.
That's awesome to hear. Yeah, I think the way that I really have started to use it and really think about it a lot is like we're often kind of in this heightened state where we have, whether it's too much or just emotionally charged or whatever it is, and we're in this heightened state. And when you're in the heightened state, there are parts of your brain that go offline. And the parts of your brain that go offline are the parts that are responsible for meaning making and curiosity and empathy. And so what this tool is doing is when it asks you a question, like there are times where it asks me a question, I have to set my phone down and I have to really sit there and think for a second. So what's happening there is that the parts of your brain that are heightened, like they get kind of calmed down, which then brings on the other parts of your brain. And that's where the 7 questions are designed to specifically get deeper on one topic. Because like, think about it, when was the last time someone asked you 7 questions in a row on one specific topic? Like unless you're on a podcast, like it's very rare for anyone to get that space to really dive deeper onto something. And it doesn't need to be the deepest thing in the world. It could just be like, I'm running on empty because I've got 7 things going on today.
Yeah, man. Life is always life, and it's just a lot going on. I know everybody I'm talking to has just a lot going on. So in that video, is there anything that you think would be helpful for you to expand upon in terms of what people saw there in addition to what you just mentioned?
Yeah, I think one thing that I've been very intentional about with the creation and the user interface and the actual experience of using the app is it's deliberately paced to not rush through. Like I think one thing that is like both fascinating and also just kind of creepy about ChatGPT and these other models is like you press enter and then all of a sudden it's like already responding, and you're just like, it's like jarring. It's like this weird, like you just feel like that's not natural. It's like superhuman the way that these things, it kind of is just like it doesn't fit super well with our brain. And so with mine, I want there to be those pauses. I want it to feel like it's taking you longer than you'd expect. I've seen people use it and they try to click through it to make it go faster, and it's like, no, part of the actual experience is the act of slowing your brain down, because
Mm,
I think so many founders, especially, like speed is seen as a good thing. Like it's
mhm,
seen as a positive. The faster you move, the faster you
mhm.
think, the faster you make decisions is seen as a good thing. But I think that everything is context dependent. There are times where you want to move fast, but there are times where slowness is
Yeah.
actually give you better results.
So I know you got your copy of the book. I don't have you had a chance to start reading it yet?
Yeah, I've read through a
So
couple of the different stories and some of the forward and
have
stuff
you
you
gotten to my chapter in it yet?
I have not yet.
So one of the things I say in my chapter, and it just ties back to what you just said, is I have a friend, Nicola Corzine, who runs the NASDAQ Entrepreneurial Center. And she always says, sometimes you have to slow down to speed up.
Yep.
And I think that's exactly what you're saying here. And I think that's beautifully said. And, like the older I get, the more I appreciate that. And sometimes doing nothing is doing everything.
Yeah, and I think it's just interesting because like in school growing up, we did like mad minute math equations where it's like, you've got a minute and how many equations can you do? So it's instilled in us that speed of thought is a good thing. And like you go on Jeopardy and the faster you can answer, like there's all these signals that show us like faster
Yeah.
is better. But if you run at 100 miles an hour all day, you're not going to be making the best decisions. You're not going to be showing up
No,
at, like
you're
I'm
not.
now, I spent so much time trying to go faster, and now I'm trying to figure out how do I slow my brain down as much as possible.
I feel like I'm battling with my kids about this all the time, especially my son. Like he looks like me, the poor kid, and he kind of has my personality too. So I know exactly like what's going on with him. And he just, there's all this pressure at his young age to be so fast and be so witty and be so smart and have all the answers. And I'm just like, bro, you gotta slow down. Like
Yeah.
you just got to slow down. And, I tell myself that sometimes too, because my brain is always moving like a million miles an hour, just have the capacity to get a lot of work done with a lot of chaos swirling around me. But it's got to slow down sometimes. So I appreciate what you're saying there. So who are your customers?
Yeah. So I think my customers are on the individual level. I would say they are individuals who are on a journey of self-improvement, who are looking to get better, who are thinking about different things. They might journal already, they might meditate already, they might listen to the Huberman podcasts or the different podcasts, reading self-help books, things like that. Because one thing that I've really come to just acknowledge and appreciate and understand about my tool is that, like, I think about it as like my tool is vegetables, and like TikTok and Instagram are like cotton candy. And so it's like, if you're going to use my tool, you have to want to do it. Like, it's not going to be like
Yeah.
so fun and so addicting that you just like keep coming back to it. It has to be like a
Yeah.
dedicated, like, I want to slow down, I want to self-reflect, I want to process what I'm dealing with, and I want to go into this with a mindset of intention. And then on the other side, I think with companies, like I'm looking and going to be providing this as a benefit to companies who want their employees to have this space. Because I think I sold Lyra Health for a few years, phenomenal benefit, like the benefit that got me the therapy that I needed when I needed it. And but I think there's a lot of people who don't need therapy, but who would benefit from a little bit more of this guided self-reflection. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, I think companies that are looking for resources to provide their employees that
Yeah.
are asynchronous, right there on
Mhm.
their phone, I think that's gonna be a big part of
Yeah.
going forward.
So what's your pricing model for it?
To be determined. Still haven't quite finalized that. I'm building out a premium version that's going to be a monthly subscription. And then for
Okay.
companies, I think there's different ways to go about it. You could do a flat monthly
Okay.
rate per employee. There's
Right.
utilization. So yeah, we're still working through what that's going to look like.
So right now,
Right now
people
it's
can just
free.
use it for
Right
free,
now it's
right? Yeah.
free. Yeah,
Okay,
it's on
cool,
the
man.
App Store. It's
So
free.
yeah, so they can just go right to the App Store. They can just go to meet-remy.com and they could download it from the App Store, which is awesome. Um, so you know, so what do you say to the people? Well, before I ask that question. So my next question was, what transformation can people expect when using Remy? But I think the answer is they just be more calm and more present.
Yeah, and I think that like one of, if not the thing that makes us most unique as a species is our ability to self-reflect. And so that ability to self-reflect is a muscle. And so by using my tool and turning that lens around and really looking at your own thoughts, looking at your own brain, unpacking what it is that you're dealing with, you're also going to build that muscle for when you're not using the app. You're going to build that space between what happens and the reaction. Like you should, the goal is for that to be a change that you notice, not just when you're using the app, but you find yourself just adding that little bit of space when you're just going through your day-to-day life.
Yeah. Well, that requires people to be able to slow down and observe their behavior. If you're running 100 miles an hour, you're probably not observing a whole lot. You're missing a lot. So I appreciate that. So what do you say to the people talking about, caution that needs to be used around AI and wellness tools? What do you say about that?
I say they're not wrong. I think that I am one of those people who's very concerned. And I think that's why I'm building in the space so that I can learn as much as I can, build the safest tool that I possibly can. Because I think about like these tools are like giving a kid a flamethrower, giving a person a flame, like they are so powerful. AI and these large language models, I think they have like real weaknesses and real flaws, but they are very efficient and very effective at what they set out to do. And so I think that we need caution, we need guardrails, we need rules and guidelines and clear lanes that we want these tools, that we don't want these tools, because I think that the risk is extremely high. If people are, we've seen lawsuits with different companies around
Yeah.
how these tools are handling really bad situations, and so I think it's needed. It's very, very important that we do not just, hey, it's technology, we got to just go 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 because we are going to fall
Yeah.
behind if we don't. Like we can't
Yeah.
do
So,
that
so
here.
can you talk a little bit about what some of those guardrails are, and are they connected to cognitive behavioral theory, which is a form of psychotherapy that aims to help individuals identify and change negative thought patterns, emotions, and behaviors that contribute to mental health problems?
Yeah, so I think cognitive behavioral therapy, I've been through it. I think it's a phenomenal tool, but I think it is like that's a clinical treatment. And so my tool in no way would be like a cognitive behavioral therapy guided tool. But a lot of cognitive behavioral therapy is rooted in the idea that, our thoughts, behaviors, and our thoughts, actions, and behaviors are three different things, are all emotions, thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are all interconnected, which like I just believe is true, like in my soul. So it's like it's not necessarily cognitive behavioral therapy, but there is some element of looking at our thoughts, looking at our behaviors, looking at our emotions and how they interconnect. But in terms of guardrails, one thing that I've built into the Remi app is I have now a dedicated safety layer that's screening messages, looking for signs of risk, looking for signs of danger. And when that's flagged, surfacing up real human resources that are available. Because I think to me, there needs to be a clear line of like what we allow AI to handle and what we don't.
Yeah. All right, cool, man. So yeah, I mean, I think, and look, because I've been talking to you for a while now, and I use the app, and I know that this is an iterative process for you, and I know it's important to you, and I think you guys right now are erring on the side of more caution than not, because
Absolutely.
I downloaded the app, I was enjoying it, and it was asking me how things were going, and I was like, I tend to be, really hard on myself. Sometimes putting a lot of pressure on myself to have certain levels of achievement, and it started asking me some questions, and I was like, yeah, I'm doing my, daily gratitude journaling, verbal affirmations, and also listening to some at night, these abundance and prosperity podcast, which is repeating all these sayings, because the thinking there is that even when you're sleeping, the subconsciousness is still listening,
Mhm.
And I'm like, I mean, I've had a bunch of startups, some of which I failed, and I feel like I still got some trauma around some of that. So I'm listening to that to try to rewire my subconscious. And when I kind of was talking about that a little bit, it kind of tripped the safety protocols on the app. And it was like, yeah, you might want to talk to somebody about this. I'm like, yeah, bro, I already know. I'm good. But okay.
Yeah,
But I
and
see
that's
you're serious about it though.
yeah, and I like to me, I would much rather it be too sensitive than not sensitive enough because the
Mhm.
stakes are just too high. And so it's going to
Yeah.
be an iterative process, a collaborative process of
Yeah.
working with experts and finding and getting that line as closely as we can to where we want it. Right now, I
Mhm.
think it is a little bit on the overly cautious side, but like I said, like I would just much rather miss that way than the other way.
No, I think that's right because if you miss the other way, it's going to be a problem. You're going to have people trying to sue you.
And just it's for me it's just much more about the actual harm that can be caused to individuals because I think like if you're building a, a spreadsheet tool that makes people, let's say, 20% more efficient at navigating spreadsheets, if that fails 10% of the time, like the stakes are not as existential as they are
They're
when you're
low.
building something that's
Yeah.
interacting with someone's thoughts. And so yeah, I think that yeah, the stakes are just too high to not, I think, be as cautious as I can.
I agree, man. Well, I'm excited to see how the app continues to evolve. Again, you can go learn more about it at oh, it's not working. Here we go. Meet-Remi.com. Check it out. It's really a delightful experience. Excited for you to continue to make it more robust and even more safe, even a better experience. Folks can contact you at Shane at meet-Remi.com. This is awesome, man. I can't remember how we met. Do you remember how we met? How did we meet? Do you remember?
Yeah, I reached out to you on LinkedIn. I reached out. I saw what you were building and just reached out and wanted to connect.
Yeah, and you were great. Like we connected, and you just like went, bought a copy of the book. I didn't even ask you to do. You just did that. I was like, oh, okay, this guy knows what's up, right? Like you, but that's the thing. I'm doing a digress here a little bit, but everybody, I feel like the transactional nature of connecting on LinkedIn it's a big turnoff, man. You know what I'm saying? You agree with that or no?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm just a big believer in relationships, like building relationships with smart people who are doing cool stuff. And I
Yeah,
think that
man.
the quicker that it becomes a transaction, like what can this person get from this, or what can I give them? Like to me, I'm just like I want to meet cool, smart people who are
Yeah,
working on
man.
projects that excite me and just
Yeah,
just get to know them, learn about them, learn and just see
yeah,
where it
man.
goes and how we
And
can help each other. Yeah.
100%. Like, I'm big on the give first, ethos. And like you showed up and you gave first. You bought a copy of my book. You didn't ask me for anything. Like you didn't ask me to do this. You bought a copy of my book and you were sharing my content. I'm like, bro, like, okay, well, let's talk, right? And I didn't ask you how I can help you because to me that's a really horrible question. And actually, so Brad Fell's latest book, Give First: The Power of Mentorship, he talks about why this is a really bad question. It's a great book to read or listen to. I listen to audiobooks because of my ADHD. But he talks about it's like when you ask somebody that question, it puts the onus back on them. It's like, no, like do your homework, listen, ask questions, find out what they're working on. You know what your resources are, and figure out how you can be helpful. Like after that, I know you're trying to get the word out about your app. I know I have this LinkedIn Live streaming capability. Not everybody does. I'm like, yo, let's just spin this up and let me help you get the word out. I'll send you the video content, some AI clips from it that you could use for marketing purposes. So that's my way of giving back and giving to you, man. And I'm thankful for your
No,
book.
yeah, I really appreciate it. And to me, it reminds me of like there's two types of gifts. There's like a gift where someone says, "Hey, what do you want for Christmas or what do you want for your birthday?" And like if you have something that you have in mind, like that can be great. But like I think often the best gifts are when like people just buy you something that they think that you want. And I think that it just kind of I think goes very aligned with what you were saying there of like when you ask someone like what can I do to help you, you're then they have to think like, oh, is this too much? Is this not like
Right.
but
And
I
I don't
think
even know what your capabilities are. Like, I don't even know how you can help. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't even know what's possible. Like, you know what you can do. Like, I don't want
yeah,
to limit your imagination with my limited
yeah.
imagination. I don't know.
No, I love that.
Yeah, do something. Be helpful. Just be helpful, right? Don't ask me how I can help. Be helpful. So,
Yeah. All right, I got a
anyway,
question for you. Do we have a couple minutes? I
I do.
gotta
What's up? What's up?
So you just spent all this time, you're writing this book on founder mental health, you're
Mhm.
deep in it. What do you think, like if you could just go into every founder's brain right now and just give them like a little spiel of advice, what would it be?
Oh boy. uh I mean, a couple of thoughts just pop up immediately. Like hustle culture is trash. That's the first thing. Um, take care of yourself. Like mental health is health. Like you, I mean, I know this is a cliche, but you can't pour from an empty cup. You got to take care of yourself. I would say that, and you're not alone. And that was a big theme in the book. Like everybody's like, you're not alone. You're not alone. If you need help, ask for help. Asking for help is not weakness. It's actually strength. I mean, running yourself into the ground, especially if you have a family, it's just, I mean, regardless, but especially if you have a family, that's just not, I think that's suboptimal. So those are just some initial thoughts. It's funny, like my wife was on me about the book because the book's incredible, man. As I said at the top, I think it's the most important book written to date about founding mental health. And so that means what? Like that means I expect it to be a New York Times bestseller, right? At some point, like I don't know if you can see this on my wall. I did a printout of the book and I put I printed a New York Times bestseller logo on a thing trying to manifest that, right? And so that means we got to sell a bunch of books, right? Well, I'm constantly like checking the sales. It's like drips and drabs, onesie, twosies. And my wife was like, look, you can't take that approach to this book. You'll be hypocritical to do that given everything that you wrote about in this book. And I'm just like, damn, she's right.
Yeah.
Right. But then I'm like, okay, so what does that mean? Like, what do I do? Like,
Yeah, I
how
think
do I show?
that's that push and pull of like you don't want to not be ambitious, you don't want to not set big goals, you don't want to not work hard, but you also got to be very mindful about what that really looks like. And I think
Bro,
that's the founder dilemma is like
I am not gonna
it,
lie. This is a dilemma for me. So what am I doing? I am taking more intentional pauses and like, all right, I planted some really great seeds today or yesterday or the day before. I'm gonna let that breathe a little bit before I go running to put a bunch of more seeds in the ground.
yeah. Yeah,
So
time.
that's
I think
go
about
ahead.
this a lot. Like time is a variable in the equation a lot of times. Like there are certain things you can't rush. I think there's like some Japanese proverb, like you can't freeze 2 feet of ice overnight. Like there are certain things that just they do take time. And I think that's part of that hustle culture, part of that speed is that
Yeah,
you
man.
want results faster than they can actually
Oh my
come.
God.
And then if you are impatient, then you change your strategy too fast. And like you could have had the perfect strategy, but you didn't give it enough time. So then you change it and it's that speed trap of just like, oh, if
Yeah,
it's
man.
happening
So
fast
that's
enough.
what I'm doing differently. That's one thing I'm doing differently. I suspect there's some more things I need to do differently. I'm also trying to lean on other people to be helpful, but that's super frustrating. Not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
Um, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think it's vulnerability. And I think so much of again that founder ethos is like you're the one who has all the answers, you're the problem solver. And so the idea of going and asking for help feels like, oh, are they gonna think that I'm not
Well, it's
enough? I
not
don't
that
know enough.
I don't mind asking for help, bro. It's just that when you ask, you don't always get it, and that can be frustrating. And it's just, but that old African proverb: if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Right? And I'm just looking for some people I can really go together with on this journey because I don't have all the access. I don't have all the connections, all the social capital, all these things. Like we have a nonprofit. We need donors and donations and stuff like that. And I can't do that all by myself. So I am yeah, I need to, do some breathing exercises sometime.
Yeah,
A lot of
it's
times.
village for sure.
So that's a long answer to your question. Hopefully I answered your
No,
question.
it's great. Yeah, it's super insightful. And I agree. I think that um
Yeah.
it's so much about like building that space, building that time to let things happen because the rushing, I don't know if you've seen the movie Inside Out too, like the anxiety character is like, I can do this, I can do this, I can like it's just when your brain starts moving too fast, it just there's
Yeah.
a lot of things that
It's
you're
got
not
to
able to
slow
really.
down, man. And yes, it's got to slow down. It's got to slow down. I think that's it, man. So that's kind of where I am with all that. Just being more intentional, just doing my my daily affirmations, my mantras,
Mhm.
activating I am of it all of that, and just trusting. The timing matters. This is the right book at the right time. This is a big problem, especially
Oh
now.
yeah.
And I just trust that, the content of the book is phenomenal, and that's going to, win the day because it's the right time. And it's the right book at the right time. And I'm just trusting that. And I know people are reading it. They're like, yo, this is great. So we just got to keep going, keep getting in front of people, keep talking about it, keep pounding the message, keep spamming LinkedIn about the book. Cause I don't care. If you don't like it, unfollow me. I don't give a crap. Right. So there's that. So that's it, man. Cool, man. All right. Well, we're going to roll out. This is amazing, bro. I appreciate you. Folks can, get the app here, meetremi.com, and they can connect with you, Shane at meetremi.com. We're going to roll out. I'm going to play this outro music. So if you could just stand by for a second, my dude, I'm going to play this outro music and then chat with you here at the end in a second. Okay.
Cool.
All right,
Yeah, this was
everybody,
great.
catch you next time. Later.